Hey guys, I'm going to show you the basic Python project structure that I use for my local scripts or applications that I'm working on. I'll build a simple shopping cart app to demonstrate how this works. Here's what we're going to be building. This is my shopping cart app, and in this folder I have a shopping cart library. And here is all my source code. I have an init file, which indicates to Python that this is a library folder. I have some files like fruit and shopping cart. Next, I have a tests folder where we can have some test code to test our application. We'll talk about these other files, what they mean, and then I'll show you the actual application file that I'm using to run my code here. Let's get going and build this thing from scratch. I'm Alex, a data engineer and author of the Applied Data Science Workshop, and I've been coding in Python for about 10 years now. So, let's dig in and create this project. I'm starting in the place where I want to create my project, and I'm going to call it shopping cart app. Then I'll go into that folder. This is the place where I would initialize my Git repository. For example, git init. All right, so now after I've done that, I can see that I've got a .git file. I typically do this because everything I write locally, I want to back up to version control right away. So everything I create is going to be a Git project. Now I'll do a few terminal things. I'm going to hop into a tmux session, and as you can see, I'm still in my same folder, and in here I want to open Vim. Inside of Vim, I can open my project tree. So now I'm going to create a README file. I'll open that up. My shopping cart, some installation instructions here. Pip install -e running instruction using the library. We're going to have something like from shopping cart initialize shopping cart. And then what we're going to want to do is we could say something like cart equals initialize shopping cart. This would be a Python string. This just gives us a framework of what we're about to build, and we can come back and build this out a little bit more later. Next, I want to do a requirements file. Common one I might use is requests, and you can specify the version of the library too. Something like that. Another one I often use is pandas, so I would just write pandas, and if I don't specify any version number, it'll just pull the latest version of that library. Since our project's not going to have any requirements, I'm going to leave this blank. Create a git ignore file. Here we can add files that we don't want to commit to version control. PyCache is a common folder that you're going to see in Python projects. And there'll be this .ag info folder as well that you won't want to commit. And then stuff like environment variables or credentials. So now we're at the point where we can write our library code. And I'm going to create a folder for our library. The first thing I want to do is put an init file. This file will indicate to Python that I'm writing library code in here that should be associated with this shopping cart library. I can leave this blank, or I can use it to import things from the files inside of here if I want to source them in an easier way when I'm loading them later. Next, I'll create two files. One is going to be called shopping cart, and the other is going to be called fruit. Here I want to define my fruit object. This is part of the domain of my application. So I'm going to say class fruit, and then I want to give it a name, which is going to be a string, and I want to give it a price, which is going to be a float. I want to make this a data class. That way I can write it in this way. And then I'm going to have to import that. Default the price to be none. Next, let's get our shopping cart going. I want some domain object in here as well for my shopping cart. I can use the same type of template that I have previously and just sort of start from there. But I want to call this a shopping cart. And the shopping cart is not going to have these entities. It's going to have items. It's going to be a list of fruit. Import my list type hint, typing, import list, and then I'll say from .fruit import fruit. I'm importing from the local file fruit as a relative path to this file, and I'm importing the fruit class. And then I can put it in here as my type hint to indicate that shopping carts should have items, which are a list of fruits. Next, in this file, I'm going to put some functions for dealing with our shopping cart. I don't want the user to have to load a shopping cart and have all these complicated methods directly attached to the class. I want to use functional programming so that we can instantiate and work with a shopping cart using functions. So here I'm initializing a shopping cart, and I'm giving us the type hint that we're going to return a shopping cart object, add some note about what we're doing here. Let's create a function for adding items to a shopping cart. And now I'm gonna create a function for removing items from the shopping cart. So this function iterates over all the objects in our cart and it checks the names of those things. And if the name equals the fruit name we passed in, it pops that item out of our list, and I'm using indexes to do that, and then it returns the name of that fruit. Otherwise it returns none. This is useful because now in our application we can check to make sure things are working like we expect. If we think we have a fruit in the cart and then we remove it, we want to make sure that it's been removed. And if we return none, we know it hasn't, so something's gone wrong. How do we run this stuff? So let's create a way to run this code. So I'll create a file called my app, open that guy up, and now we're gonna import our library. I'm just gonna grab them this way, throw them down here. We'll sort of keep this tool and bring up the last one. I also want some fruits in here. From shopping cart dot fruit import fruit. Create happy cart. We're gonna create a nice happy cart with all of our fave fruit string. Fruit names equals parse fruit arg. Fruits arg. Because what I want to do is this is going to be some input into our function. The fruit names that I want to get out is going to be a list of strings, and we're going to add these to our cart. Iterate over these fruit names and add them all to the cart. Now I'm going to set up a code block to run create happy cart. And I'll pass some fruit names here, berries, to go ahead and create this function. Taking a string, and I want to return a list of strings like I indicated above. Fruit.strip for fruit in fave fruits dot split, and I want to split on the comma. If fruit.strip, that protects me from, if I have something like that or spaces. So I can actually run this. So since I'm in Tmux, split my screen. If I look at my tree, you can see it matches Vim above. Try and run my app. I'm missing a positional argument. Let's check that out. Right, so I never passed the cart name in here. So cart should go in here. And this also, I'm trying to do too many things. I'm not following the Zen of Python. Initialize our fruit object. Sort of put that like this. Happy cart created, and we're seeing a shopping cart where I have an apple, I have a banana, and I have some berries. The next thing I would do if I'm building this as an application is I want to use argparse so that I can actually parse in these arguments with user input. I do this all the time. So I'll show you an example of that. The user can pass in their favorite fruits, and then we're gonna push that into our application so that now fave fruits this string, and you can see now why I didn't just pass a list in, because it's easier to ask users for strings than to have to worry about parsing lists with argparse. If I go back here and I try and run it, it's gonna tell me, okay, I need to specify my fave fruit, strawberry, and let's make it really messy and see if it can handle that. So we get a pear, strawberry, blueberry, all of our fruits are in our shopping cart. So here's my app. I would really appreciate it if you threw me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It really helps me get my content seen. So in the next video, I'm gonna show you how to install this project locally, and I'm gonna write some tests for our application. The next thing we might wanna do is add more structure to our project hierarchy, which will really benefit you as your project starts to grow. In particular, I'm gonna show you how to organize your files into domain code, service code, and adapter code. This is inspired by a book I read called Architecture Patterns with Python. So you can click the video link on the left, and if you wanna skip over that and get right to these architecture patterns that I discussed, you can click the video on the right. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.